thank you again for always being so nice to me and inviting me to these things. And am I getting feedback here? Am I right?
Just when you walk in front of if you get too near the speaker, but down one on the
I
floor
won't get
shouldn't
anywhere
bother.
near a speaker.
No, that's all right.
Anyway, thank you all for having me. It's good to see you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about me and talk about the store. The store is a lot more interesting than I am, so we'll go from there. I was asked to talk about, using the right equipment for the job. And the only thing I don't like about speaking to this group is, especially about my knowledge about roses and the equipment that you use for roses, is everything I've learned over the last 30 years, I've learned from the people in this room. Of course, some of the people in this room are no longer in this room because they're gone, but we've had a long relationship with the Rose Society, and like I said, I appreciate the knowledge that I picked up from this group over the last 30 years. But let's talk about the store a little bit before I go on. Everybody should know, but we have been in business since 1955. The store is exactly the same age I am. Both of us were born in July of 1955. We are known for our quality products, a wide selection of products, and outstanding customer service. I can't begin to talk about all the different things we can, but I'll try. But I mean, we carry all the soils, and if there's one thing that's really exploding on the market is soils. I mean, it's unbelievable how many rose soils are out there now. I don't know if they're all very good or not, but I think they are. A lot more compost, a lot more potting soil. There was a company that brought me a bag and left it on my desk and wants me to sell it. It's a bag that's going to cost about $21, and it's not that big. It's great stuff. It's got a lot of good stuff in it, but I'm finding out that there's no limit on this. We're selling a lot more of the Fox Farm products and things like that. The Nature's Waste product kind of set the tone on that several years ago when they started selling compost at $10 a bag, and of course now it's maybe $12.99 a bag. So anyway, that's what's exploding on the market. We got a new worm casting that just literally came in this week, so we've got that in the store now. So I'm always bringing in new stuff, especially in the organic field, so take advantage of that if you would. I'd like to have it. About the store, make sure you always, when you come in and buy rose-related items, that you tell us that you're a member of the Rose Society. You can give us a newsletter, but most of us at the store recognize you, and please just tell us that you're in the Rose Society, and we'll give you a 10% discount on all rose-related items year-round. And then, February 8th through 16th of next year, I know it's a long way, we will advertise that more in the Rosette as we go along, but we'll have a Rose Appreciation Week, which will give you 15% on rose-related items. So that's all your soils, that's all your fertilizers, your chemicals, your organics, your tools, your Felco pruners, everything like that. So that's a pretty good deal. So make sure you write that down and take advantage of that. We carry everything. We're Southwest Fertilizer. I pretty much carry almost any fertilizer there is, both synthetic and organic. So I just ran out of room on the slide, but we carry a lot of products, and very proud of each of those products. About me, if you don't know already, I have grown up in Houston. I grew up in the Sharpstown area. I graduated from Sharpstown High School. I attended the University of Houston. A lot of people still think I'm an Aggie. Go Cougs. And like I said, it's just, I'm a political science major from the University of Houston, which really helps me when I'm selling manure. So it does a good job. It has helped me in the end. Fertilizer store has been very good to me. I've been there for over 30 years now. That is where I met my wife, Diane. Most of you have met her. And of course, we had to show our child, Gracie, who is up there. She has been with us now almost a year. We rescued her back in Labor Day of last year. So she is becoming a big part of our lives, obviously. She rules the house. So anyway, that's about me. What we'll talk about tonight, gosh almighty, the last thing I want to do is just start showing pictures of everything in the store. Here's something you can use. So we're going to talk about I picked a few things that everybody needs as far as working with roses, and that's hand protection, nice way of saying gloves. Let us spray. Everybody sprays. If you're a rosarian, you're spraying in Houston, so we'll talk about sprayers. Pruners, loppers, and saws. We'll talk about big selection that we have for that, and why you want a good quality pruner or saw or pruner or lop or whatever. So we'll get on with it. Start with gloves. If you're working with roses, if you're working with any plant, working in the dirt, you're always going to need gloves. So it's kind of funny, over the years we've carried all kinds of rose gloves, all the garden gloves we've had. Let's stay here. And like I said, gloves have come a long way. The old days, the old cotton knit gloves we used to have, and the old work gloves, the welder's gloves, the ones on the right that I still think is the most popular glove. I have a little story about that later on. But the nitrile gloves, they breathe more, they're lighter weight. Gloves don't have to be so heavy and things like that. To protect your hands, obviously. With roses, you want thicker gloves, obviously with thorns, until you find a rose without a thorn on it. That's hasn't been developed yet. So it's important to have a good pair of gloves, especially when you're spraying. I would make sure you use the plastic gloves or the chemical gloves, as I call them. Make sure you use those. These gloves are great, but they're not going to protect you when you're spraying the chemicals. So make sure you have the right glove. The main thing about gloves is, and that's what I found out, I can have all kinds and just show them to you, but until you find one that you like, that feels comfortable with you, that's the glove you're going to wear. So that's important. We have the gauntlet gloves that are important, obviously, for rosarians. Men's, women's, they all come in different colors and all that fun stuff. And of course, I can carry all the rose gloves and the $1 million gloves and everything else, but when I go to the professionals, when I go to see what they're using, and when the rose pruners, and that's at the Rose Pruning Show in February here, I see the greatest array of great gloves they probably had for 50 years. But it works. Like I said, it protects your hands and you can get your work done. That's what you want to use, and that's what we like to use. But anyway, I think everybody that works with gloves, or works with roses, excuse me, wear gloves. I hope that's the case. I hope you use that for protection. I read an article, jumping to sprayers, I read an article several years ago, some rose society in another part of the country, and its column basically said there are 2 kinds of sprayers, TOO kinds. Too small or they're too large. And that's true. And I thought, a little rose humor, I thought whoever, can't give credit to that, not to myself especially, but it's a good line because that's true. If you have 3 or 4 roses in your garden and that's what you have, you don't need a 5-gallon backpack sprayer. If you have 180 roses or 100 or 800 roses, you can't do a 1-gallon pump-up spray. You're going to have something to do the job. So that's important. With sprayers, a list of things that you want to take into account is always safety first. You always want to read the label. You always want to know what you're spraying for. If you're spraying for a bug, I know lots of people, and there might be some in this room, that spray just because, well, I'm supposed to spray. Well, what are you spraying? I don't know. It's what this bottle here. And it's important that you know what you're spraying for and why. Read the label. I can't overemphasize that enough. Read the label. I have so many people that will, half a tablespoon is good to a gallon. Well, 3 or 4 glugs will really get those suckers. It really will. No, let's use it exactly what the label calls for. That's what we want to do. Mix only what you need. I have read, and I tend to agree, that 1 gallon of mixed material, and I'll probably get some argument from people in this room. It won't be the first argument I ever have with someone in this room, but still, 1 gallon of mixed product will treat approximately 24 full-size roses. Do we have a count on the Rose Society member average amount of roses? I mean, is that something y'all even keep count of? I know some people will bump up but I would guess, Baxter guess, 20, 30 roses.
We hear 30,000.
350 roses, and we spray about 30 gallons at this time of year, because most of them are about 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide. You got small bushes, you don't use.
Well, but you try. You don't use that full amount, obviously. And that's what we want to do. But that was a pretty good. And that, as far as a basics for, if you got 24 roses, you can get away with a 1 gallon sprayer. That's what I'm trying to get at, I guess. And if you've got 2 or 3 roses, nothing wrong with that. We all start somewhere. We can actually use it, something like a little trigger sprayer. But it's important to mix only what you need. A lot of people will mix up, use half the tank, and they say, look at it, and they say, we'll just use this next week. No. You always want to mix what you spray and use it all. It breaks down overnight very quickly, and it won't do much good for your sprayer either. So it's important that you mix what you need and use everything. People say, well, what happens if I have 6 or 7 ounces left? What do I do? I don't want to spray it on my roses. Well, it's something that simple. I pour it on my hot driveway. Just let it evaporate. I mean, if it's 4 or 5 gallons, I don't want to do that because it'll run down the storm sewer. But just small amounts we can get rid of little ways like that. So empty the tank. Never leave your mix inside the tank. Never. I mean, I just, that's the quickest way of ruining your sprayer. And plus, like I said, the product breaks down and it won't be any good anyway. Clean up. Clean up is the most important thing we do. I spend more time cleaning up the sprayer than I do spraying itself. Cleaning up your sprayer, cleaning up your tools and everything else. That's what we all good gardeners do, is take care of their tools and make sure you clean up. And of course, safety last. We're always being careful all the time. We're always wearing our gloves, and we're always wearing our eye protection, and things like that. So it's very important. There are 4 different categories of sprayers, just not 2, but they're trigger, hose in, compression. Compression's a nice way of saying a pump-up sprayer. And then the powered, that's a gas or electric or a battery powered. A lot of bigger sprayers are powered. Trigger sprayers, it's the simplest and the cheapest there is. I mean, if you have 2 or 3 roses that you're maintaining or spraying for, that's the perfect size. It's perfect for small gardens. That little sprayer right there is Harris. Harris, of course, is a chemical company. We sell a lot of their products, but they have developed a pretty nice sprayer that puts out a very, very fine mist. It's a pretty heavy-duty sprayer. It costs a little bit more than the other sprayers. I think it runs about $4.99, but it is a good sprayer. It will put out a pretty good mist, and so that's why I featured it on there. You can buy all kinds of sprayers. I mean, you can get them cheap, 99 cents. They can get 16 ounce, 8 ounce, up to 32 ounce. The one on the right is an all-angle sprayer. You can spray it upside down, sideways. It always pumps. So that's kind of good when you're trying to spray the backsides of leaves and things like that. So an all-angle sprayer is pretty important. You can also use a Windex bottle. You can't read that, but at the bottom of that, there's some blue tape on there. And I found this in someone's backyard. I took a picture of it. It says rose juice. I don't know what rose juice is. It looks like dirty Windex to me, but it could be the fat Greek wedding guy that always sprayed Windex on everything. But it takes care of black spots, spider mites, Windex. But no, the idea is you can use anything for a sprayer, and like I said, the idea is putting the product out onto the plant. So, but anyway, that's the idea with that. Hose-in sprayers, you can spray a lot of stuff real quick with a hose-in sprayer. I do not recommend them with roses. They're great for spraying your lawn, or if you're maybe spraying a tree or big surfaces. That's a good thing. The one on the left and the one on the far right, the Gilmore people used to make those sprayers, and they got out of the sprayer business like that. So they sold the rights to Chapin. And of course, if you recognize, that's the old aromatic sprayer on the left, and then the little sprayer on the right, it's a 6-gallon sprayer. That's the one if someone wants to spray stuff on their lawn, that's the one I usually sell them. It usually costs about $5, $6, and it's just the easiest to operate, and it's probably the most accurate. The dial-in spray's been around. It's changed its look several times over the course of the last 30 years, but it's still a pretty good sprayer. You just dial the recommended dose, and yeah, it's pretty accurate, but it's not the best thing for spraying roses, so let's not go nuts on that. Compression sprayers are by far the most popular. The one on the left is, they start at $12.99. Probably buy them cheaper than that at Walmart or whatever. But I basically call those throwaways. honestly. Most people who buy those, go back in time, 25 years ago, we would sell nothing but the high quality end sprayers, only because we felt like, our store would sell quality, that's what we wanted people to use. Well, we found out the younger people today, they don't really care if they use that once and throw it away. That's okay. So we sell a lot of those, so I have them now. And for certain things we're spraying, when we had the sod webworm outbreak a couple of years ago, we sold a lot of those because we were spraying a lot of organic products out. And that was the best way to put it out. So, but the Constructo sprayer on the right, I brought one of those. I think that's a picture of a 1 gallon, but I brought the 2 gallon line. It's one of the prizes that we'll give away. But it is a very good sprayer. The good thing about the Hudson line and the Constructo line is that we carry most of the parts for that. It has a brass wand. It used to be a lot more metal in this sprayer, but over the course of time, it's got more and more plastic in it. But the handles become plastic, and the pump assembly is more plastic and things like that. But still, it's a very good high-end quality sprayer. And it's only problem with a pump-up sprayer is think about you carrying around that yard. A gallon of water weighs a little bit more than 8 pounds. So you get a 2 gallon, 16 pounds, 3 gallon, it's 24, so it gets heavy. So it's important that you, once again, pick a sprayer that's good for what you're trying to spray. Pump-up sprayers come down to a quart size. I mean, they're literally that small. That has a little hand trigger to spray, and that does very well. Gallon, 2 gallon, 3 gallon is usually the size in that type of pump-up sprayer. So also, I would also consider make sure that whatever sprayer you choose, make sure it has a wide mouth on it. It makes it a lot easier when you're mixing your chemicals. If you've got a small opening, you're always going to spill some. So, and you're messing with concentrates. Yes, Manny?
Mancozeb gets down in those little bottom protuberances. How do you clean that out?
What I do, with a nozzle, a hose nozzle, and then of course I cup it and make sure I just spray like that, make sure I'm close. But I literally just blast it out of there, and with a hose nozzle and just high pressure water, that gets it up. Oh, at the end I always use warm soapy water. There are some things that's tank cleaner and things like that. I use warm soapy water, and that's the main idea on that. That's the other problem with using things like Mancozeb, Daconil, things like that, is those some wettable powders that we use, is they always seem to sip to the bottom. If there's any way possible that you can mix up some of that with warm water, my spraying is done with a gallon sprayer. I don't use anything bigger than that. You get too old to carry 2 pounds of water. So I always try to mix, get an old milk jug and mix it into that, and then mix it with warm water, and especially those powders or the Mancozebs. That seems to dissolve it a little better.
It doesn't precipitate out in the heat over
the heat, we're not talking 150 degree water, we're talking lukewarm water out of it.
while you're spraying.
Oh, no, I don't usually have that much problem with that 1 gallon spray. I'm spraying pretty quickly on that. Yes, sir, Baxter?
Those of us who use tank-type sprayers,
Yes.
quite often just leave a gallon of water in the bottom of the tank after you rinse it out.
And that loosens.
Well, it just can't part.
Yeah, that's good. We're going to talk about the tank sprayers in a minute, and boy, I tell you, the usual death of those things, a lot of reasons for death of those big sprayers, but usually those powders, they get to the pump and they just harden up, and we just don't clean them well enough. So that's a story for in a few minutes, but anyway. Like I said, consider using a wide mouth. It just makes it a lot easier when you're filling it up. And like I said, pick the size you need, how many roses you have. You have 10 roses, you can get away with a half-gallon sprayer or something like that. So that's what we want to look at. More compression sprayers. The one on the left has been a real good sprayer for us. It's very popular. As you can see on top of it has a very wide mouth, and it's probably one of the widest mouths. There's a joke there somewhere about a big mouth, but we'll go on. But that's a very good sprayer. It's all plastic as far as the nozzles and then the wand, but if you look on the very end, it does have a brass spray tip that's adjustable, so it can give you the stream or the mist either way. And then of course the old-fashioned stainless steel sprayers. People used to think they were getting the highest quality known to man when they were buying a stainless steel sprayer. Well, the problem with that is they get dinged up. I mean, plastic's really not bad when you think about it. You can see through plastic. You can see how much is in the jug and things like that. But they still make the Budweiser, which is the stainless steel sprayer. It has a lot of metal and things like that. But we do notice that on some of those metal, we do have some corrosive problems over the course of time, especially the age of the sprayer. A good sprayer, if you take good care of it, will last you a long time because you can buy the replacement parts. Going back to the Constructo, we carry the plunger cups, all the valves, all the different O-rings, everything that's on there, we carry. The tips, the wands. I mean, if you run over it with a truck, you might want to buy a new one. But other than that, we can pretty much fix everything on there and usually do it while you wait. A lot of people bring them in a month after they buy it and say, this thing clogs up. Well, we go in there and we get the compressed air and we blow out grass, we blow out dirt. It's amazing what gets inside of a pump-up sprayer, which makes me wonder, number one, is where are they pouring their stuff in and so forth and so on, because there's grass in there and everything else. One thing I do like to do, well, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but is keeping it clean is in the tips. I always take a paper clip and just wrap it around one of the parts of the sprayer. And so if the tip becomes clogged, you can, you don't want to go in the garage and start looking for stuff. You have it right there. You can pretty much take care of that problem right away. Just be careful to relieve the pressure of the sprayer, because most people will unclog that thing and it comes shooting out in their face. So common sense, be safe. When you want to carry 3 or 4 pounds around, well, you stow it on your back. Those are good compression sprayers. You see a lot of the commercial guys using those, and those are the guys spraying God knows what on the streets. But it's the spray killing weeds and things like that. But those are all commercial grade sprayers, and most of those are 3 to 4 gallons. Solo's a very good one, very good tip. Steel, Echo, the two brands of products that we sell commercially, those are great sprayers as well. Biggest part of those is make sure you spend the time cleaning those things. That's the most important part. A backpack sprayer is not the easiest thing in the world to clean, because you do have to lift it, turn it, flip it, flush a lot of clean water through it. So it's very important that you keep it clean. The biggest problem with a backpack, and I can tell you 95% of the landscapers, you drive around and look at the back of their truck, you'll see a Solo sprayer and there's stuff in a jug just waiting to be used whenever they want to use it. They come back and say, well, that Roundup didn't work as good as it did. Well, you can't leave it in there for a week. You got to, and then plus all the valves and everything else. When you leave that product in there, it just eats away. So it's never a good thing to leave your product. Always empty out your sprayer. This is the world famous Spot Shot sprayer. A couple of years ago, I think I finally waved the white flag on this as far as trying to sell it. Over the years, we have sold lots of these sprayers. I have sold a lot of these sprayers to a lot of people in this room, and of course, I think the engineers in this room have created monsters with some of them. Some of them have 6 batteries on them, and some of them has turbocharged everything else, but whatever. But they're a great sprayer. It's a 5-gallon tank on it. It operates a battery that's rechargeable. It's well built. Has a 20-foot hose on it. Has a nice wand. Put longer wands on them, or a brass wand, and make it curved to your liking. When you can walk 20 feet away from your sprayer to do some spraying, you can get some serious spraying done. Great product, and for those of you who have, well, if you have 800 roses or 300 roses, you already know about the Spot Shot sprayer, but that's a good product. And like I said, the big problem with that is the pump inside of it always seemed to get clogged. And it was always clogged with the powdery stuff, the Mangazeps, things like that. Over the course of time, we just didn't flush that thing out well enough, and it would always clog those pumps. The pumps would burn up because they were eventually like a clogged artery. It just blocks. Always had issues with the battery and the charging of those things. It was always people replacing the charger, always replacing the battery, and it was just a lot of. If you have one, I think you know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of work to maintain. But like I said, for spraying large areas, how many roses can you spray with that, Baxter?
6 gallons will give you about 75 bushels.
Obviously, Baxter does not follow my recommendations on how many. That's right, but yeah.
And I buy my batteries at the Academy store. And I finally gave up on the charger and bought one of those at the Academy store too.
Well, whatever it works. Yes, it's keeping them working, the batteries or the charger, and it always failed on you right when you were getting ready to spray, or you already had your stuff mixed, it was already in the tank, and you know, it was always, we had a lot of emergency calls on the spot shot, but you can get those through Rosemania, you can still spot shot. I tried to need it. I have one in for repair now, and I was looking for some parts, and I'm having a hard time finding this guy. So anyway, but it's a good sprayer, and like I said, if you have one, it's definitely worthwhile. Tips for your sprayers is always keep your nozzles clean. Keep everything clean. Talk about the paper clip to your sprayer. It's just easier to kind of poke it and kind of get that grass out of there and dirt. Never, never, never point a loaded gun. Never point a wand towards your face when you're cleaning it, especially if you don't release the pressure in your tank. Because as soon as you unclog that thing, it will come spurting out at you. And I think everybody's had that happen to you over the course of time. But that's why we're in our eye protection and our whatever. We're always just being careful. And always spray with the wind at your back. Spray downwind. You don't want to use common sense. Keep your neighbors in mind. I mean, to see someone dressed up in a respirator and a moon suit walking around with a big sprayer, you know, I've always wondered. Where's Mary? Oh, she's not here. But I always wondered, because I've seen her, I drove by it, and you know, the neighbors are grabbing their kids and they're running them inside and everything. I always wondered what neighbors thought, but obviously common sense. But beware of your neighbors, and like I said, just use common sense when you're using your sprayer, and be careful with. I know this group likes to do a lot of preventative things, but if we could watch out, especially on insecticides. I like to tell people, let's not spray for insects unless we have them. Let's not try to prevent them. I'm trying to prevent the good stuff that's out there we're trying to protect. I know we have to spray for black spot, pink bone color, but but it's important just to use common sense when you're spraying and keep your neighbors and your friends in mind. Okay, the most important tool you'll ever buy if you're a rosarian is a good pair of pruning shears. That particular pair is the Felco. I think if good rosarians around the country, I think that would probably be the most preferred pruner for anyone. There are other good pruners out there. Barnell makes a good one. Corona makes good ones. They're out there. Fiskars makes good pruners. But the Felco seems to be the most preferred. I know in this group, that's where I've learned about Felco pruners from this group over the years. And they've been around since the 40s, right after the war. And of course, they make a lot more than the number 2. They have several kinds of pruners, which will start showing it about that. That's our little display at the store. I think there's 14 or 15 pruners up there that we have. We have saws, we have the loppers, of course parts, things like that. About 3 months ago, a guy stopped by the store. He was the Pygar company, and that is the United States distributor for Felco. And nice guy. And he came in. He said for 15 years he's already going over his orders. He always saw this little farm store in Houston, Texas, would sell all these big orders of Felco. And he said, boy, we always, and he said the head guy at Pygar, and he did. He always sent me the Swiss chocolates and everything at the end of the year and stuff like that because we ordered so many of them. But he came in and said, "Is this all you have? Is this all you got?" And he was looking at the store, but we did have a good selection on hand, and we talked a lot. So it's a good product, and like I said, it's always been a good product. It's about the best quality, the best built pruner, I think, in the business. It really fits your hand, and of course, the different sizes and different things like that. They're just one to fit your hand, I promise you. And if you come to the store, you can just open them all up and play with them and see which one fits your hand the best. And you're pruning roses for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 8, 10 hours. You want to have a good tool to make sure that it happens with. The good thing about Felco, we carry most of the replacement blades and parts, scabbards, holsters, all that good stuff. And we are the largest Felco independent dealer in the state. It seems that they are doing a lot more I don't know what you call the online market, the market that's
Internet.
well, yeah, I know it's internet, but I'm not going to call it the black market, but because and they're cracking down on that, by the way. That's one thing that there were a lot of knockoffs being sold and things like that. So just beware on that. And it's nothing worse to get a fake Rolex when you're thinking you're getting the best. But anyway, we're having some issues with that, but they seem to be working on that. But anyway, we have a lot of pruners. The Felco 2 is the most popular. And I might remind if there's any fathers out there who are looking for a gift this Sunday, the Felco 2 is the perfect gift. And you can get 10% off at Southwest Fertilizer. There's just a few of the handheld printers they have, and it's just starts with the 2 up on the left-hand side there, and it goes on up. They have them for left hand, right hands. What he pointed out to me, I didn't realize, is he said the Felco 2 is the only ambidextrous printer they have. You can use it with either hand. I always used it in my right. I didn't realize that. I knew we sold printers for left-handed people and things like that. That was fine, but he says that one will literally cut with both hands. So that was kind of interesting to know. But like I said, and then on the bottom right-hand side, you see the 160 and the 160L, the small, the large. They're starting to tinker with a little bit more of a leader line, lower, less expensive, cheaper product, I guess, because they just want to go into all markets, and that's kind of a neat thing. Oh, sure. I mean, that's one thing I was surprised that they sell a lot of pruners for roses, but boy, the grape harvesters and things like it's amazing their lineup. I brought their catalog. You want to look at it. I mean, the things they have for all the other agricultural uses, it's amazing. They really do a good job. Pruning tips: keep the blade sharp. I mean, you get a good pair of pruners. I mean, you can get away with sharpening them a couple times a year, depends how often you're using it. Keeping them clean and lubricate after every use. That's very important. Like I said, I spend a lot more times wiping down my pruners than I am finding the case to put them in and hanging them back on the wall, store it in my special place. I recommend everyone to buy a knockoff pair. You can buy a pair of Barnells or cheap ones that you can buy for $10.99 at the store. They have the red handles. Like when your neighbor wants to come borrow those good printers you got, just hand them those. They never know the difference.
You'll never get them back anyway.
That's right. So keep 3 or 4 pair. But you must know my neighbor. But yeah, it's amazing. But anyway, that's what I recommend for that. So it's important that you take care of your tools. Those little knockoffs are, once again, if you're starting out in the rose business or in the rose gardening, that's maybe a good start for you. Like I said, we got pruners and everything for everybody's budget. Yes, ma'am.
Do you ever do sharpening?
Yes, we do sharpenings at the store. We do it in the back in the mower shop. We also sell the sharpeners, the stones and everything like that you can do it yourself if you wish. But yeah, you can bring your tools in. It's not your pruners, but your loppers and your shovels and hoes and whatever. We can do
Velcro
that
makes
for
a
you.
great sharpening stone that you sell.
Yes.
I can keep it in my pocket.
Yeah, that's the problem with it. It usually goes to the washing machine a couple times too. But it does. Yeah, it does a great job. And I always sharpen mine a little bit more often than most people do. But like I said, I just like to keep a sharp printer, so that's important. But yeah, we have all that stuff at the store.
I'm on my 2nd pair of Velcros in 50 years. And I
There you
will
go.
still be using the first pair, but I dropped them in the shredder.
And he's still on his first wife too, so that's a good testament. So that's great. Yeah, and like I said, and I've seen his Velcro printers. And they are. Patsy's used the heck out of them. The other thing that Felco sells and we sell and we do is their lopper. And their lopper, I think a lot of the people in this room see that in here in February and boy, they make a very good lopper. The one on the right is the original Velco 20, 21, and 22, I believe is the numbers. But they have introduced a new line. The ones on the left, now I know that's not a very good picture, but it's more of a tubular steel handle. It's a little bit cheaper. Now the big lopper, it's pricey, but the ones on the left, maybe 40, 50 bucks a little cheaper. So that's worthwhile there. And it still has the same blades and everything else. So that's important. It just doesn't have those nice aluminum handles that you see on the right. They have more of a tubular aluminum on there. Loppers, you can get any kind of loppers. I mean, Corona makes the one, they still make a wood handle one. They make aluminum handles. The one in the middle is Barnell. And of course, that's the Velco on the right. So loppers are very important to have, and especially when you're doing your big pruning in February, your little hand pruner can only go 3/4 of an inch. You got something, you can get some torque behind that and really do a good job and get a very good crisp cut. That's very important. And then if you got something bigger than that, well, we can go to the saws. The little keyhole saw on the right, we carry those occasionally, and that's just for, well, you can just throw that in your bucket and have that around because it's very precise and you can get in there and cut in tight spaces. The folding saw, Velco's folding saw is very popular on the left, and then the razor tooth in the middle, that's Corona. Be very careful with those saw blades. When you grab them, they are sharp. They will cut you badly if you grab those. A lot of times they were falling and you go to grab them and it's too late. So be careful with those. But no, keeping your saws clean, once again, using a good ballast stall to clean them with, WD-40. I really don't care what you use to keep them lubricated. That's very important to do, and I think you'll do. Like I said, if you just take good care of your tools, they'll take care of you. And like I said, any beginning steps for any rose gardener or any gardener in general is to have a good selection of tools in the shed. So that's very important. Okay. Now we can talk about any kind of tools. Any questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
Before we get away from the sprayers, I've never used a disposable sprayer, but if you did, would you take it to the hazardous waste disposal to get rid of it?
The question is, obviously, if you have a disposable, what do you do with an old pump-up sprayer? Do you take it to no, just throw it in the trash. Seriously, I mean, make sure it's clean. You wash it out. But no, you can just throw it on, and you probably even, I don't know if you can recycle an old, I don't think you want to recycle an old, but no, just throw it in the trash. That's what the Hudson people advise me. That's what I tell people, because if I get them returned, and usually they come back full of stuff, and no telling what it is. Could be bleach water, could be Roundup, could be dirty Windex, like that other guy had it. But it's, but no, his deal is just throw them away. That's just, clean it as best you can, obviously, and that's what you want to do on that. Boy, oh, okay. Yes, good.
Guest here. What is the price range on gloves? Like, what
Literally
some of them are really
$3.99 to, you can get pretty expensive. Most of the ones we've been carrying the Bellingham gloves over the years. We have Wells Lamont, all the big gloves, but Bellingham's what we carry now. I want to say the rose gloves, the gauntlets, things like that, are in the $30 range, things like that. And so, but believe me, you can find gloves that are. We used to carry a brand of gloves that the Louisville Slugger people made, and that was an excellent garden glove, but it was very ergonomic. I mean, it was a great glove, but it was pricey, and we had a hard time selling those. People who knew the good quality and put them on and worked with them, it's just like a Velcro printer. I mean, literally, you felt good to wear that glove and to do the work there, but you had to pay for that. But no, the gloves that are out there now, the nitrile gloves, and they're lightweight, they're very airy, they breathe a lot better than they used to. In the old days, we were driving one of those goat skin or deer skin driving gloves, they called them. I mean, they were hot and miserable in the sweat, and but now they breathe a little better. But no, there's prices up and down. You can go start from any price point and go up. Trust me. Good. Any more? Yes, ma'am.
What do you recommend to lubricate
The pruners or when you're cleaning?
yeah.
Well, you can use anything. You use WD-40. A lot of people will use that. We sell a product at the store called Ballistol. And Ballistol is organic and it's biodegradable. It's a very good product. We use it a lot for cleaning guns, but let's not bring that up. But whatever. But for cleaning your printers, lubricating, I spray it, and it comes in aerosol cans or even has little wipes that you can just wipe. But I like to spray. But spraying those, it'll help clean. And in fact, Dan, was it you that first used? Did you use Ballistol? Somebody in the roadside suggested we buy that. I can't remember who it was, but it's been 20 years ago, I guess now. But that's when we first started selling Ballistol. But that's a good product.
Yeah, Rick Coleman.
Okay. So that was a good find, and once again, that guy is grateful for a little bit of business. He's out of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, so I think they sprayed it on the Wrights Brothers plane. Took off. Kept it clean. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Can you go back to the printers?
Absolutely.
The one with the long handle, number 13?
Yes.
What is that for?
Well, it's just made a longer handle, it has a little bit more leverage to do it. You see, it has a bigger blade, so it's just for a bigger printer, mainly for real big hands. But I don't sell the 13. I can order it if you ever wanted to play with it or look at it. But I think someone like you probably need both hands to operate that one. But seriously, it's just a longer printer. Yeah. And then, of course, the 7 and the 10. And this is one that has never been, that has that rolling, rotating handle. And I have never found that to be comfortable. A lot of people do, and that's some people and you can get the same blade pattern that's on the 2 and everything else, but get it in the rolling handle. I just have never liked that. We sell a few, but also I meant to tell you, and he talked me into Mr. Philco when he came in. It's not his name, but Philco had a cut and hold printer. It's Philco 2, but it has the holding mechanism. And from everything I've understood from a lot of you people and other reading about it, most Rosarians, when they cut, they use the other hand and, they're cutting. They don't want to hold it and dump it in the trash can, and that's what that's designed for, I guess. One-handed pruning. Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry?
It's good for nursery work.
Well, there you go. And but it's the Philco 100. And we have that in site. We brought some in, so if anybody looking for a cut and hold, it's a Philco. We've had them with the other brands, but they had it and they kind of drifted out of the line, but they brought it back. So, like I said, if there's anything in the Philco line that you're interested in and we don't carry, I'd be glad we can special order it and usually get it within a few days. It comes out of the Washington State area. I want to say, yes, Renee?
My Velcros, just finally, I decided about a month ago, I just was going to treat myself and get a new pair. I like the cut and holds. They have changed my life.
Oh,
I love them.
The cut and holds were made for Renee. Look at that.
Because when you reach in, you don't have to pull the stick.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It comes out, or you cut a flower. I like it.
Well, for the people that were doing show work and things like that, I thought that was exactly what it was for. But he told me exactly reaching in and didn't.
Some
But-
sticky restoration.
yeah.
I don't wear gauntlets; they're too hard. I just wear suede shorts, so I kind of am careful. But
There you go.
you're
Well, if you're interested in looking at them, we've got them at the store, and I'll be glad to show them to you. And they're kind of interesting, but that was just something he recommended that I carry, and I'm always accommodating. So what the heck. Okay, any more questions about? Hey, yeah.
It's not a question, it's just a general compliment. If you've never been to Southwest Fertilizer, you don't know what you're missing. It's a great service. He's one of the most knowledgeable young men and ladies I've ever met who know the product, and you'll never have to load your own car.
That's right.
Well, I hope not, but
Everyone in the store seems like they were personally trained by Bob.
well, they were. And I'm glad that some of them listened. Usually I'm always, and that's what they're always, you're never happy with my work. And I said, well, whatever.
That's your job.
They're,
Thank you for that, I appreciate that. Yes?
The people that work there are so nice, and I've had the same car for, 20 years, and it died at Thanksgiving. And I went in right after that, and they went to put my stuff in the car, and they came back in there like, where's your car? And they didn't ask me, I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot. It's like, they're so perfect.
Well, I wish, and thank you for that, but like I said, please, if you ever have an issue with any of my employees, you're good, I love to hear about it, and believe me, I hope that everybody has a good experience, but if we screw up something, give me a chance to fix it, please, don't get mad, or if you hear somebody that I went there and they did this and that, well, it's better than that, and please, give me a chance to make it right. I usually bend over way backwards. I'll say that now, and you'll come in and complain, and I'll start giving you free stuff. So, okay, Margie, I have 2 prizes to give away for your raffle. It's a Hudson Constructo sprayer, and then I did bring a pair of Felco 2s.